Hey, everybody. I'm very excited to welcome you to a brand new interview series on Straight Talk Commerce, where I'm diving deep into the world of digital marketing, social media influence, and brand building strategies. Over the next few episodes, I'm going to be sitting down with some of the brightest minds in marketing, thought leaders, influencers, and strategists who are shaping the way brands connect with their audiences online. Today, I'm kicking things off with an incredible first guest, Karen Hill. She's a marketing powerhouse who knows exactly how to cut through the noise, build brand authority, and leverage social media for massive success. So if you're a business owner, a content creator, or just someone looking to step up your marketing game, you are in the right place. Straight Talk Commerce, the interview series, coming at you in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We cracked the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know with Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Listen, Karen, we've been friends for a very long time. Over 20 years. We have been friends for over 20 years. I know who you are, and how much I have enjoyed our friendship. What I want is to kind of impart that to the people that are out there that have just subscribed to Straight Talk Commerce, that are following along with what we're trying to do. So, yeah, briefly, long, doesn't matter. Give us a flavor of exactly who you are and what your experience have been.
Sure. So thank you for having me on, by the way. And I know we've been friends for a long time, so it's nice to be able to have this chat together. But I started my career actually at CBS Radio, and this was, many moons ago. My background is in advertising and working with CBS Radio as a marketing manager across all of the LA radio stations. That was where I actually first started my career, which evolved into actually having my own business and starting that over 18 years ago, which is Fusion Promotional Marketing. And basically with Fusion, it's really almost like a broker in a way. It's really where I bring brands and entertainment properties together to be able to bring these robust shopper marketing programs to life. A shopper marketing program, it's basically, go ahead.
I want an example of this, okay?
Oh, of course. I have lots of those.
I want to give people a flavor of really what you mean by that.
Yes, absolutely. So for example, if you go into a Kroger, a Safeway, any type of retailer, and you see a national campaign such as Garfield the movie, which came out now, it's been almost, I can't believe almost a year ago. But Garfield the movie was a great example because that's where I worked with Pop Chips, who is the brand, and facilitating a national campaign across all of their retailers, and where they had on pack, meaning they had Garfield on their chips. We also did a ton of different stunts and social media campaigns, working with influencers, having the ability, which is actually really cool, the product placement in the movie, which was really unheard of, to have an animated movie, have an actual CPG brand featured in the movie with Garfield. That was a huge win for the brand. And that was something that I was able to broker with Sony Pictures and also with Pop Chips, who was my client. So as an example, for those type of tie-ins, it's really where the brand will come to me looking for a way to enhance their brand using a Hollywood equity IP, meaning a Garfield. It could be Jurassic World. It could be any movie where the brand sees a good target demo and a good fit, where they could use the assets to be able to really bring it to life in a lot of different ways. So social, digital, POP in store, custom shippers, on pack, as I mentioned, the product placement, using influencers to be able to create a really fun social platform, surprise and delight sweepstakes, pricing. I mean, you name it. It really has a lot of different ways to go to market for a brand.
Let's break that down a little bit. the influencers, for example, organizing and getting all of those things. How do you see the role of influencers? How have they evolved, and how do you see them evolving in the future?
It's a huge part of every marketing deal that I work on now. I mean, every program that either be on the studio side or a brand side has some type of influencer program. And I think especially as it relates to entertainment, influencers are so key because they can really talk about the movie, they can, go see the movie, they can bring in the brand and talk about how a pop chips kind of correlates with the movie. What they also are able to do is put together influencer packages where they'll send an influencer kit that has movie tickets, it has swag from the movie, and it's kind of a tool for the influencer to be able to engage with their audience, to be able to talk about the promotion as well. But they're using these brands are using social and influencers in such a grand way. Like I said, every program I have has an influencer type program. And on the studio side, they also engage too to be able to talk about the brand. So it's a very kind of a win-win for both sides to be able to engage with an influencer and with their audience because they
Do you
bring so much to the table.
Right. Do you see that expanding? Using influencers even more in the future, or do you see there is starting to be like a contraction of that type of marketing? Because frankly, here we talk about this all the time, where this is just the beginning
Oh
of
yeah, it
influencer
really
marketing.
is.
Is
It
that
really
what you're
is.
finding too?
Well, I think as it relates to entertainment, you have to figure everything's going to streaming and digital. So, what better way to be able to engage is with social and influencers because they're already in that space. So, as you'll see movies, it's been a struggle with home entertainment. DVDs are kind of going by the by, which is really sad because I did a lot of marketing with home entertainment, and that platform is just about gone. So really it's shifting to theatrical. So what does that mean for a brand when you're doing a theatrical tie-in? Still you have people going to see the movie, but a lot of people prefer to actually stream a movie from the convenience of their home. So I think when you start engaging with influencers, you already have that built-in market. They're already doing that with their audience. So I think it really goes hand in hand. But to your point, and that's something that I actually started doing about a year ago, is I already work with influencers, I work with brands. So I already have a really great knowledge of working in that capacity. So I thought, I should be a content creator because I have a lot of experience in this area and I'm a Gen Xer. And I think Gen Xers have such a huge buying potential right now, more so than a 20, and I'm not saying 20-year-olds don't have benefits because they do, but I think that there's a huge opportunity for Gen Xers to be able to be a content creator because we have so much influence in the marketplace. And I think brands are really starting to notice that more and more also.
Yeah, the information that I am, kind of gleaning is that, especially with YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, those platforms are growing exponentially. And so, my question, I guess, for that would be: at what levels are you starting to work with influencers? What level of subscriber, follower? Where do everyone's definition of influencer is different.
It really is because you have an influencer and then you have a content creator, a UGC. And so you really almost have two different types of means to go to market. So influencers to me is really someone that has a built audience. It's more of a personal, they talk about things they like. A UGC creator is really helping that brand. It's more of almost like you're an actor for the brand, if you will, because you may not even really know, like the product, let's say, but you still can talk about it and you can still engage with that audience. And they want that content to be able to take back to their brand to be able to use it organically.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's almost two different paths to this road that a lot of brands are using this content for.
Well, there's a lot of people that are good at one thing and not as good at the other, but there
Right.
are some creators that are definitely influencers. They are definitely good at both. I look at
Exactly.
somebody like the Kardashians. I mean, they really kind of ushered us into this era
Oh
of.
yeah, they're the first for sure.
And for me, the definition of influencer is not only to whether your audience is small or whether your audience is large, do they do what you say to do? Do you have any influence over this audience, your audience, or not? And so that's kind of, I mean, do you see the same thing?
Do you want to start and scale an online business without wasting years making mistakes? The Straight Talk Commerce Playbook is your step-by-step guide to launching, growing, and profiting from e-commerce, subscriptions, and digital products.
You can either pay thousands of dollars to listen to unproven experts, go it alone, or get your hands on the most powerful tools money can buy at a fraction of what others are paying. Learn the exact strategies top brands use to build million-dollar businesses, plus insider secrets on marketing, automation, and customer retention. For a limited time, pre-order now for just $49 and get a bonus Q&A session with Wayne Altman when the book drops in May. Most product launches fail because people don't follow a proven strategy. Don't be one of them. In Launch Like a Pro, I'll walk you through a 4-week action plan to pre-sell your product, validate demand, and generate cash flow before you even launch. What you'll get: a step-by-step pre-sale blueprint, marketing scripts and ad templates, exclusive access to my private launch community. Pre-order today and get a private coaching call, $197 value, free. Monetizing content like a 1 million subscriber podcast masterclass, $199 pre-sale price. You don't need millions of views to turn your content into cash. In this masterclass, I'll break down the exact strategies I use to monetize Straight Talk Commerce, from sponsorship deals and affiliate marketing to digital products and subscriptions. What you'll learn: how to turn your podcast, YouTube, or blog into a revenue machine, the best monetization strategies for small and growing audiences, how to land high-paying brand deals, even if you're just starting. Pre-order now and get personalized feedback on your content strategy. AI for Entrepreneurs Toolkit, $97. Pre-sale price: AI isn't the future, it's the present. If you're not using it to scale your business, you're already behind. The AI for Entrepreneurs Toolkit gives you instant access to AI-powered business automation hacks, ChatGPT prompts to write sales copy, emails, and ads, a step-by-step AI integration guide for e-commerce and digital products. Pre-order today and get exclusive access to a live AI strategy session with me.
I do from a personal level too. So when I started this path, I was really taking it like I'm talking to all my friends on social media, because I had always had friends say, "Oh my gosh, I love the lipstick you're wearing. Oh, I love that outfit. Where'd you get that blouse?" And I just conversationally, I love to talk about fashion. I love to talk about beauty. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I just talk to everybody about it? Because I love to share all my finds. I love to share a good sale. I love to share when I get a new color lipstick. So, and hoping to help others to discover what's available to them if they don't have the time. Maybe they're like, I don't really want to buy that new foundation, but oh, Karen used it and she liked it, and this is what it looks like on her. So it kind of encourages them to make a purchase that they may not have wanted to before. So it does help.
I will tell you, I mean, that is exactly why you're sitting here. It's great that you've had all this great experience and you've done it on a very, very high level. I get that. I've known for a long time. It wasn't, though, until I started watching your TikToks and you coming out doing this social media that I started to realize, oh shit, Karen actually knows how to do this. You are incredibly engaging and I'm going to add, with your permission, I want to add a couple of those in this, because people really need to see the right way that it should be done. When I go on one of your videos and I hear hello friends, I know immediately who's doing that. And very similar to the Amish woman that does cooking tutorials on TikTok, or I'm interviewing Sue Dillon, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Sue Dillon, but oh my God, one of the funniest creators I have ever seen in my entire life. In 2 weeks, I'm interviewing Sarah Gray, who does Sue Dillon, and we're talking about masters of their craft. You fit in that. What strategies do you find most effective for building an audience? I mean, what have you had success with as far as building an engaged social media audience?
It's really just about being authentic, just talking like you're talking to a friend. I'm not scripted, I'm all ad lib. I usually kind of in my head, I'll have copy points, just knowing the brand. Just in working with brands for so long, I get how you structure copy. So I kind of have that going for me in the sense that I understand, what's needed to kind of help push a sell, move product. But when I'm talking, I'm just ad libbing. I mean, I really love to talk about brands, especially
Really? So
that
when
I
you do those TikToks, you are talking now. I'm sure that you're not trying to tell me that you stand there in front of a camera and right out of the gate, one take, you
As I
know,
said, it takes a couple takes,
uh,
but eventually get it down. But
you are
I'm
about to
not
crush
reading,
my heart.
I was gonna say I'm not reading a script like a lot of people, and you can totally
Wow.
tell. I think here's the difference. I've seen this with other influencers when they have a paid endorsement, and not to say I'm not knocking this because who doesn't want paid endorsements? They're
Sure.
great.
Sure.
But if they're reading a script or if you can tell if they really use the product, and it kind of like to me, I can tell right away. I can tell like, okay, they just got paid to do that and they're just talking about it and it doesn't sound very authentic. I can definitely tell the difference. So if I were a brand, I would say, here's copy points, but go at it. Say whatever you want about it. I mean,
I am
obviously
so
it's
glad that you did, because that was one of my questions. And I agree with you 100%, by the way. I totally agree with you that, look, there are a lot of times, even famous comedians, even people like Joe Rogan or people that have been in the entertainment industry for years and years, to see them pivot into an obvious commercial for a brand. I would say to a brand, and see if you agree with this. I would say to a brand, listen, you hired this individual for their personality, for their warmth. Give them some key points that you want to hit, but do not hand someone a script and make it sound too commercial.
right. Because I think that, and I totally agree, because I think it kind of, and I would say it just doesn't resonate. I
No,
think
it
when you're
doesn't
really
resonate.
personal and you talk about your own personal use of whatever that is you're talking about, whatever product, and how it really works for you, I
Yeah.
think people identify with that more. So, but if you're just like, oh, this is so great, I use it all the time, and you really don't, I think you can tell that, and you lose people. I think you lose that credibility, and you're not being authentic to your audience.
I
So
can understand on the influencer side, hey, you want a paycheck, you want to, get a relationship with the brand, and you're willing to work with them and do what I so okay, I get it from the influencer side of this. But honestly, from the brand perspective, you should be professional. Certainly you want to get your voice across. You don't want someone just, winging it. Okay, but at the same time, it helps you pay attention to who it is you've asked to represent you.
absolutely. And they're strict about it too. I know in working from the studio side, when we use influencers, they want to know who they are, what their audience is, and they actually have someone kind of like look into their background. And I've had studios say, you know what, I'm sorry, but we can't use that influencer because of X, Y, and Z. Maybe they have had a bad PR. Maybe, there's something they've done that just doesn't resonate really well with the movie and the brand and the target they're trying to go after. So there is some, background checking, and they want to make sure that it's a really good fit because they don't want any backlash from anybody if they use someone that doesn't resonate really well with their brand. So you have to be really careful in who you're picking and who you're choosing and making sure there's a really good brand fit.
Yeah, I just did a podcast, will come out tonight, about and I've done one in the past, not too distant past, about the hits and misses from some of these brand deals. And I'm thinking about Pepsi, when they worked with Kendall Jenner. I'm thinking about Bud Light, obviously Bud Light, and the whole Dylan Mulvaney fiasco that they did. You can definitely do damage to your brand if you don't think about what you're doing and who you're working with. I totally get that.
Yep.
Um, so what you're saying, if anyone's doubting what you're saying, those I give you right off the top of my bald head, two very good examples of, bad jobs on influencing. But give me your take on micro influencer versus macro influencer. I mean, which do you think offer more bang for the buck, more value for the brand, or is there a difference?
I think there is, and I think it depends on the company and the brand. So I think if it's a brand, I think sometimes you want to go after that big audience because you need to have a brand awareness, let's say. But then, so I really think it's a case by case scenario, and it really depends on the product that they're trying to promote. I think it's nice to have a smaller audience if they have a really engaging audience too. So it could mean, okay, great, they have 200,000 followers, but those followers don't buy dog food. Who knows what. So you really have to kind of weigh it out as to what's the plus and benefits, because you're going to have to pay a lot more for an influencer that has a ton of followers, and but are you going to get the same ROI that you would if you're working with a smaller influencer that maybe has a super engaging audience, and they're going to do whatever that influencer tells their audience to do. So I really think it's a case by case scenario.
Do you think it's more about the size of the audience, or do you think it's more about the conversion rates and the getting people actually to move the needle? I know people that have, as a matter of fact, a very good friend of mine here in Rancho Cucamonga. That's where I am. She is at 10,000, a little bit over 10,000 on Instagram, follower on Instagram, makeup. She does basically the same. I think you and we've discussed her before. And brands love her, even though she has a smaller group of people. They march to what her orders are. They really, if she says try this product, things fly off the shelf, and
And that's what they
it
want.
really moves the needle for them.
Right.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, with anything, with any brand, they have to see an ROI. And that's across every type of advertising medium. If they're doing billboards, if they're doing radio, if they're doing influencer campaigns, they have to see a bump in sales. And, and they all evaluate that differently. But if someone can move the needle and can get the message out, and I think it has a lot to do too with when you're doing a brand evaluation and you're trying to figure out what the brand goals are. Is their goal to be able to, is it a product launch? Do they want people to know that there's a new lipstick coming out, or are they trying to get people to come and subscribe to for their email database? I mean, there's so many different ways to move products. So I think it also depends on how and what they're trying to accomplish. And that's something, when you're first talking to a brand, and this would be for an influencer as well, you need to figure out what is it you're trying to accomplish. More followers, more engagement, more sale. I mean, everybody wants more sales at the end of the day. So whatever you're doing, you're going to have to move product, because otherwise, why are they really doing this? But it could also be for brand recognition or brand awareness too.
It is like you're in my head, or maybe you watched a previous podcast of mine, because I just did this for both the influencer side and for the brand side. So, helping people to create their brand, kind of explain to people exactly what you're talking about. Because there are different parameters, there are different goals, and the first thing that you do in this type of thing is, you're right, we agree that you got to set what are your goals, what are you trying to accomplish with this campaign. Maybe you just want brand recognition and you'd like this influencer to barf your name all over the place, but maybe you actually expect sales from this, and there
Right.
are two different methods for both of those things.
I
If your
agree.
business operations feel like a grind, you're missing out on the magic of artificial intelligence. Whether you're in retail, manufacturing, finance, or any other industry, AI is a game changer. From automating mundane tasks to optimizing your supply chain, AI can transform how you operate. We specialize in creating tailored AI solutions that meet your unique challenges and goals. With our expertise, you can improve efficiency, reduce errors, and make better decisions. Discover how AI can revolutionize your business. Contact us today at www.toolessentials.ai/consultation.
I agree. Yep.
What role does storytelling though play?
Oh,
And
huge.
okay.
I mean, for me, everything I'm doing is a story, right? I'm talking about, it's a creation. So, and I think storytelling resonates very well with people because everyone wants to hear what you have to say. It's
Right.
like, how good of a storyteller are you? Like, you're probably the best storyteller I know, because you can turn something into this magnificent story. So I think
Well, I mean, yeah, that's, yeah, that's funny that you say that.
But it kind of goes, I mean, who are you going to listen to? Someone who's boring and flat and just like, oh my gosh, are they ever going to like, what are they trying to, what's the point they're trying to get out? Or are you going to listen to someone who has this magical way of explaining something that's so creative and it just there, it's a hook. It's like you want to keep listening because they're so entertaining. So I think that to me, it's everything's storytelling.
You know, it's funny because you're exactly right. No, me personally, I cannot stand when I'm standing next to someone who's telling me a story that even if I've heard it before, if they can make that thing that I've already heard before as interesting as the story that I heard, okay, I can stand it. But 9 times out of 10, my major problem with people is the fact that they cannot tell a story. And so, yeah, I've always loved Jerry Clower, Archie Campbell, all of these fantastic storytellers, Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, people that can actually tell you a story and keep you entertained. 100% I'm in it. Now, have you noticed any recent trends in influencer partnerships that may change the industry as a whole? I mean, tell me about this.
Well, what I've been hearing and what I've seen, and it's tough to do, is live. Everything that people want live, instant, like gratification. They don't want, they want you just to come on and just talk and just what about whatever it is without being edited, just raw. So I think in selling, like the whole live selling, I think this is something that China's done for a long time, and you'll see that on TikTok a lot, where people are selling things crazy, like it's a garage sale, like, oh, I got a purse. There's this whole format that's crazy, that's very interesting, and how that's going to come to life. But I think more and more of that you'll start seeing is live. Everything is just someone's just
Wow.
coming on and starts
Like a
talking.
QVC you're talking
Well,
about. I mean, because
yeah,
I see
yeah.
TikToks where it is, I thought I turned on QVC and you've got this person describing this one product, by the way. It's not multiple products. They go on, they describe one product, and then you'll come back to them a little bit later, and it's another, product that the same person, same voice, whatever. But you're right. Yeah, I see that. And you think that that's going to proliferate. You think that we're going to see more of that.
I do. I think that that's going to evolve into the next kind of level of how people are going to be selling. It's like direct to consumer selling.
Yeah.
And it's real direct because someone just coming on and just, there's all these different weird gadgets and you see them. I'm like, what are they doing? They're sitting on, there's that one machine where it vibrates, like where you
Yes.
stand on it
Supposed
and
to be
people are
weight
like
loss
talking.
thing.
Yeah, it's the weird, you're just like watching them and they're trying to talk while they're on the machine,
Yeah.
but it
No,
works. People just
I
listen because I think it's so odd.
yeah, I see that all the time, and not just that, but other. TikTok is its own ecosystem. It's its own
Yeah.
place. I just got off of TikTok Live. Basically, what I do is I will do a podcast on TikTok. I'll do it a couple times live on TikTok. Then I'll record it and put it on YouTube, and that has really kind of exploded our subscribers. I've practiced it a little bit. I've actually done some work on it. It's way better on YouTube because I'll add special effects. I will add story elements, but you're right. I definitely see now that you mention it, and that breaks my heart a little bit. But let's pivot a little bit. What would you say are the key elements of a strong personal brand on social media? And bonus points, if you can give me some examples of, because it's not all the same, right? You're different on Instagram than you are on TikTok than you are on YouTube. I mean, I'm assuming that you feel the same way. Tell me.
Yes and no. I think that when you're developing a brand for an influencer type of campaign, so let's say, Mary Smith wants to be an influencer. So you have to develop your own portfolio. You really have to develop what your personal brand is and what you stand for. So for example, I have a portfolio of my work. It explains what does Karen Hill do as a UGC content creator? What are my key elements? What can I offer a brand? So you do have to develop your personal goal and your personal portfolio so that you can showcase that to brands so they want to work with you and what you stand for, and then also give examples of that work. But really, it's the platforms, you have to be on every platform. The messaging, to your point, is very similar. I mean, I have to say, I don't really change it up too much. I might do a different type of product that I would on TikTok than I would on Instagram. But for the most part, I feel like I'm really cross all channels. When I
There's
first
a
started
through
doing
line.
it,
You're saying that there is a through line. We
yeah.
talked about that tonight. The podcast tonight is how to build a luxury brand.
Do you want to start and scale an online business without wasting years making mistakes? The Straight Talk Commerce Playbook is your step-by-step guide to launching, growing, and profiting from e-commerce, subscriptions, and digital products.
You can either pay thousands of dollars to listen to unproven experts, go it alone, or get your hands on the most powerful tools money can buy at a fraction of what others are paying. Learn the exact strategies top brands use to build million-dollar businesses, plus insider secrets on marketing, automation, and customer retention. For a limited time, pre-order now for just $49 and get a bonus Q&A session with Wayne Altman when the book drops in May. Most product launches fail because people don't follow a proven strategy. Don't be one of them. In Launch Like a Pro, I'll walk you through a 4-week action plan to pre-sell your product, validate demand, and generate cash flow before you even launch. What you'll get: a step-by-step pre-sale blueprint, marketing scripts and ad templates, exclusive access to my private launch community. Pre-order today and get a private coaching call, $197 value, free. Monetizing content like a 1 million subscriber podcast masterclass, $199 pre-sale price. You don't need millions of views to turn your content into cash. In this masterclass, I'll break down the exact strategies I use to monetize Straight Talk Commerce, from sponsorship deals and affiliate marketing to digital products and subscriptions. What you'll learn: how to turn your podcast, YouTube, or blog into a revenue machine, the best monetization strategies for small and growing audiences, how to land high-paying brand deals, even if you're just starting. Pre-order now and get personalized feedback on your content strategy. AI for Entrepreneurs Toolkit, $97. Pre-sale price: AI isn't the future, it's the present. If you're not using it to scale your business, you're already behind. The AI for Entrepreneurs Toolkit gives you instant access to AI-powered business automation hacks, ChatGPT prompts to write sales copy, emails, and ads, a step-by-step AI integration guide for e-commerce and digital products. Pre-order today and get exclusive access to a live AI strategy session with me.
And people were asking me, they're like, what do you mean? You're talking to normal, small, no. There are a lot of very small luxury brands being created every single day. You just haven't heard of those yet. Supreme being one of those brands that is now, blown up and is, huge. That's not, I mean, I agree with you. You need to have across all social channels, you need to have a consistent theme, but just in the nature of the platform, you have changes in how you present it. Is that
Not necessarily.
no?
I think you could, right? I think you could do that. And I think you touched on something too. So YouTube, I think, is great for a long platform. I
That's
think
yeah,
for people who want more information
right.
and really want you to go in depth about what the conversation is and what the topic is. And I think short term, short, quick, real stories is Instagram, where you just want to put
Yeah.
something up. My whole purpose when I started doing this a year ago is I really wanted to get on LTK and ShopMy. And here's the reason why is, so if you're looking at Instagram and you're like posting a picture of your, at a event and you have a really cute dress on and people are like, oh, I love that dress that she's wearing. I wonder where she got it. Well, LTK and ShopMy is that platform now where you can actually post and you can put a link to where you could shop what someone is actually wearing in that particular post. It's genius. So when I go to influencers and I'm like, oh, I really like that dress. I wonder where she got it. Oh, there's a link. Oh, it takes me to J. Crew. Oh, I can buy the shoes right there. I mean, it's like instant gratification. That's what I really wanted to do because I saw that as an avenue, especially talking to my audience, is figuring out a way to give this back to them so it was easy and convenient. But to get on those platforms, it's not like you just go, oh, I want to join LTK and shop
Right.
my. You got to prove that you're posting all the time, that you have an audience, that they're engaging. And it took me like 3 times to get onto LTK. It wasn't like an overnight thing. I
Right.
had to really work at it. But now I am able to showcase that, and it really works nicely into what I'm trying to, demonstrate to my audience, and hopefully give them back the benefit of the shopping apps.
Well, that's a good. I mean, that's a good segue. Kind of. Well, how do you approach building community and fostering that brand loyalty? Online when you're doing this. I mean, what are some of the things that you do to make sure that you are, building that community out?
And that's something that I'm developing. So it's really showcasing on all of my personal, my Karen Hill UGC page, my Fusion promo pages. I mean, I've got a lot of different um networks and avenues, but it's really promoting, hey, go check out LTK, go follow me there. So it's really posting on these other social platforms to come back into LTK and also be a follower there. And then LTK has a whole big community as well of different people. So if they see, if there's people who are on LTK, the app, and if you're not on it, I always tell people go to LTK, get on the app and shop my. It has a lot of great content from different influencers where you can follow them, and kind of it showcases, things to wear to work. I mean, makeup. I mean, there's so much great advice on all of these platforms. But that's a way for people to also have community, to your point. It's all, depending on, especially if you like fashion and makeup and home and Amazon and all of those. I mean, Amazon has their own storefronts too that
Which
you.
makes you personally perfect for this because I mean your shopping is prolific. That is
Yes,
something that you have
I'm very good at
approached.
that.
Right. You have approached that with an aggressiveness and a zeal that, I mean, I am very good friends with your husband. It's probably one of my best friends in the world. And I'm telling you, you are, there will be songs written about your shopping exploits.
Yeah,
Look,
I could be a professional shopper, no doubt.
you
I mean, that's
are.
like a
You've
hobby
actually
of
found a
mine.
way to turn it into a professional gig, which is admirable, really. How do you determine the right tone and messaging? And do you change that uh, per platform? I mean, do you pay attention to that? I mean, do you? How do I explain this? For
I would
for
say no, because, well, here's the thing. You kind of said something in the very beginning. When I say hi friends, or when I
right.
kind of, I don't even know why I always say that, but now that's me. So I guess in a way I kind of like,
You should
I
never,
say hi
ever
friends.
stop that. That will never, listen, you stop doing that at your own peril.
Hi friends, I wanted to give you a review on the Clutch portable charger. This is a lifesaver. My phone keeps going dead all the time.
I
So
just,
that just showcases, now it's me, Karen, coming to you
yes,
live, or coming to you across
I don't
the
know how you
channel.
came up with it. Honestly, Karen, seriously, but this is you and I. I'm telling you right now, that is the same thing as Michael Buffer saying, let's get ready to rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
That's the same thing
My
as
catchphrase.
It's time!
I mean, seriously, it's time. All of that is such and will be, the larger and larger that you grow your audience, will be such a stamp of Karen Hill on that. When you say hi friends, it is, seriously, I know exactly. Doesn't matter if I can't see the screen or not. I know exactly who that is, and it's genius. It's absolutely brilliant that you came up with that. My question down the line is going to be how you came up with that. But
And I think it's just being conversational. I really am talking to you like my friend. So,
well,
you
yeah,
know, and I think that's hopefully, how I'm coming across too, that it's genuine, that, we're having like this one-on-one conversation about whatever it is I'm talking about, and that I'm sharing this because you're my friend. So hopefully it comes across that way. That's just how, just kind of ad lib, just the way I'm presenting it.
without question, it sounds extremely organic and authentic and clear. I mean, it's probably, there are some things that you can make fun of somebody for. Okay, especially that takes place when they're being inauthentic. You're like, hey, wait a minute, that's not what you really sound like. That's not the person that you honestly are. Okay,
Right.
that is not something that anyone who knows you would make that argument. No one that knows you would make the argument that that isn't 100% authentic and Karen Hill. That's what makes it so genius.
I mean, I think I use that phrase like I leave you a message or I'm like, hi friend. Yeah, like I just that's kind of how I start my conversations, I guess.
Right.
So, but I think that's the key is like what makes you different and stand out, right?
Now, does it change depending upon the different social platforms? That's kind of the question. How do you determine, is it product specific? Is it time of year? I mean, what goes into determining the right tone and the right messaging on each individual platform?
I don't see that changing much, really. I think that the messaging in the delivery is really the same.
Yeah.
And I guess you could tailor it a little bit different per platform. I don't personally. It doesn't mean to say you couldn't do that, though.
For me, and this is just for me, I am more instructional on YouTube, right? It's just me, unless we're doing I'm doing an interview or whatever. For it in on TikTok, it's more friendly, generally answering questions from people and stuff. I get more interaction from there.
Right.
And I tend to stay away from Instagram. I'm in Facebook jail way more often than anybody. I mean, I've never been paroled from Facebook jail. So, to me, I would have to change my personality to be on that platform.
And I
How
think
should brands, let me ask you how brands should handle negative feedback or crises? We kind of alluded to a couple different really spun out brands on social media. When something like that happens in one of the brands that you represent, how do you suggest they handle that?
well, you need a good PR firm because I think there's definitely PR firms that are geared for handling all types of incidences, whether it be good or bad. I mean, sometimes bad PR can be good PR in a weird kind of way, right? It just depends on how you flip that scenario. But I think I always come back to, you have to just be honest. And it depends on what, I guess, the negative comment is it's coming back. If it's someone that just like, oh, your product sucks and I would never use it again, it's like you want to be honest and you want to see how can you make that person be a customer again, right? And you don't hide from it. You just go for it and you try to make peace with that person. At the end of the day, you want them to be happy. So you're going to do whatever it takes to be able to make them feel good about, your product. So I think it's just, PR is great at handling those type of scenarios, but I think it's just being honest. Not everyone's going to like you or your product. That's just the way it is. It just depends on how you can make it into a positive at the end of the day.
Do you want to start and scale an online business without wasting years making mistakes? The Straight Talk Commerce Playbook is your step-by-step guide to launching, growing, and profiting from e-commerce, subscriptions, and digital products.
You can either pay thousands of dollars to listen to unproven experts, go it alone, or get your hands on the most powerful tools money can buy at a fraction of what others are paying. Learn the exact strategies top brands use to build million-dollar businesses, plus insider secrets on marketing, automation, and customer retention. For a limited time, pre-order now for just $49 and get a bonus Q&A session with Wayne Altman when the book drops in May. Most product launches fail because people don't follow a proven strategy. Don't be one of them. In Launch Like a Pro, I'll walk you through a 4-week action plan to pre-sell your product, validate demand, and generate cash flow before you even launch. What you'll get: a step-by-step pre-sale blueprint, marketing scripts and ad templates, exclusive access to my private launch community. Pre-order today and get a private coaching call, $197 value. Free. Monetizing content like a 1 million subscriber podcast masterclass, $199 pre-sale price. You don't need millions of views to turn your content into cash. In this masterclass, I'll break down the exact strategies I use to monetize Straight Talk Commerce, from sponsorship deals and affiliate marketing to digital products and subscriptions. What you'll learn: how to turn your podcast, YouTube, or blog into a revenue machine, the best monetization strategies for small and growing audiences, how to land high-paying brand deals, even if you're just starting. Pre-order now and get personalized feedback on your content strategy. AI for Entrepreneurs Toolkit, $97. Pre-sale price. AI isn't the future, it's the present. If you're not using it to scale your business, you're already behind. The AI for Entrepreneurs Toolkit gives you instant access to AI-powered business automation hacks, ChatGPT prompts to write sales copy, emails, and ads, a step-by-step AI integration guide for e-commerce and digital products. Pre-order today and get exclusive access to a live AI strategy session with me.
I will add to that. I mean, I 100% agree with you. And I have done a lot of work with auto dealerships and different auto brands, and I would always tell them, look, you really want the negative comments, and you want them for a specific reason. You want the rest, everybody else, to see how you handle yourself when someone's directing negativity toward you.
Right.
You want to state your case in a very pleasant and positive way, and at least get your side of the story out, and then let everyone else decide who's being reasonable, who's not being reasonable. You can really turn around a negative incident if you, well, number one, if you're contrite to the audience. If you've offended someone, contrition is key. You have to really be authentically sorry that took place. Let's start there. But if it's something that you don't feel that you did wrong or you did poorly, then, look, say, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Here's what our thought process behind that was, and let the public decide, just in your tone and in your manner. Let the public decide, if they're which side they're gonna take. How often should brands be posting on social media to maximize? No, I'm not talking about just posting on social media, but let's say that we want to maximize our engagement.
And I think it depends. Again, it goes back to what is it that they're trying to accomplish, right, at the end of the day. So let's say we'll use a new product launch, something that you're teasing your audience about. It's coming, we have a secret, we're going to let it out. It's like you kind of build up the momentum. So that pre-launch is super important, and then the launch period is super important, and then the after. So you kind of have different tiers as to how you kind of develop your storytelling, if you will, and also to the different way you're promoting. So 1 to 3, I would say, is kind of that key. You don't want to overdo it to where people get sick of you, but at the same time, it's a different message all the time, and it's that constant seeing that new item and kind of making it to where it's top of mind, to where they're thinking, oh yeah, I saw that it's available at Sephora. Oh, the launch is coming on Friday. Oh, and building that excitement. That's where you kind of gear up to, because you want them to want something so bad and they can't wait for it to come out, and they can't wait to be the first one to try it. So there's that building of that creativeness that you have to, come across for any brand. So I think it depends on the type of campaign you're trying to accomplish.
So it's very deliberate. You're saying that, look, there's a plan in place.
For sure.
You need to be very deliberate in the way that you do that. You don't want to oversaturate, like you said. You don't want to miss an opportunity if that's when they present themselves. Yeah, I 100% totally agree with that. Which
And
kind
just
of
like
leads me to
with a movie release, if you kind of think about how they position it, it's kind of building up, building up. They play a couple different trailers to make you excited that it's going to be coming out. Oh, you can pre-order your tickets to go see it, be the first one in line. I mean, it's creating that excitement and that buzz. And then once the weekend comes where it comes out, that's like make or break for a studio, right? That weekend will like determine the whole rest of the campaign and how the movie's going to do. And then after that, it tears off, it drops down. The first 2 weeks after a movie comes up, you'll see it just kind of peter out. But
Yeah.
that lead up is that is make or break for a movie.
Well, one of the things I noticed too, and there are historic precedents for this. The first Austin Powers movie, and the Blair Witch, the first Blair Witch movie. Number one, the Austin Powers, it had a huge studio behind it. They could have done a million different things to promote that movie. But the Blair Witch Project came out of nowhere.
Super
They
organic.
say that again.
It was super organic. I don't think they realized what they had until it just like blew up, and it was like a word of mouth, right?
Well, it wasn't. They had a website and they created mystery all over. It was one of the first social media without the platforms. It was one of the first social, it was the blueprint, really. If you go back and watch that, I studied that kind of stuff, and it was really interesting that they left little nuggets everywhere. They didn't have the benefit of a Facebook. They didn't have a benefit of the of a, they had to do this on Yahoo and on Google. It was a totally different thing. But what was interesting about it was they showed we are still using that same blueprint today. Both Austin Powers and, I don't know if you remember this, but Austin Powers, they used to have little flash, things that would go across your screen. If you open something, they would actually place a virus on your computer where Austin Powers would pop up, various times. People, it wasn't a known, no one knew who Austin Powers was, but it was a massive smash hit because by the time that movie came out, people were used to this car driving on their computer, Austin Powers going, "Yeah, baby," and they already kind of knew what they were expecting. Your approach to short form versus long form content. I mean, do you use a lot of long form content?
Not for what I'm trying to do at this moment. I like to keep things short because I think that your attention span is so short. So you got to really hit it hard, whatever you're trying to communicate. And if you go on too long, you lose people. They just don't want to hear it, right? So you have to be really engaging right off the bat for whatever you're trying to talk about. And if you drag it on too long, people are just going to disconnect and move on. So you
Were
got
you
to.
saying that about me personally? My attention span is very short.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
I was going
I
to say.
wasn't, I didn't catch all of that.
So, but for what I'm trying to do, I would say short form works better for my delivery.
Now, do your customers, your clients, do they differentiate? Do they have a tendency to come to you and say, "Hey, look, these are the platforms that we want to work with. We need is it a mix, or are they also just, hey, give us these little 2 minute or 30 second, TikToks and we're good."
I think it's short. It's usually short form because of
Yeah.
what I think it has to do with categories too. So if you're talking, if it's a makeup line, if it's a skincare line, they too have the same philosophy. They're trying to be, catching, deliver a message. A lot of times too, it's how you're presenting it as far as like how you're using the product. So that's going to be a little bit longer because you actually have to take the time to, explain what you're doing, explain the benefits, and
Right.
that's educational because you're trying to also teach your audience the benefits of why they should be using the product. So, and I think if you're talking about chips, I mean, you don't have a whole lot to say about a chip company. It's like it either tastes good or it doesn't really.
Right.
And what's the benefits of it? And so it's going to have to be like, okay, it might be a baked chip versus a fried chip. I mean, so you don't have a lot of copy really to try to let them know like here's where you can buy it. It's a new flavor. Here's, it's a great price point. I mean, you don't have the luxury of like this huge long-winded, explanation.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are your thoughts on AI? I mean, how much
I
do
love
you
AI. I mean,
really?
I do because I think it's genius. I mean, it's really it's amazing how much information you can get from AI and how it's free. I mean, at some point I'm like, are they going to charge for this? Because it's pretty incredible how you can put, I mean, for copywriting, for, coming up with calendars, I think it's a great tool to use. And I wouldn't suggest you heavily just do everything AI because I think it's a great tool, I will say, to use. But I think it depends on how you're using it too. I mean, if you talk to someone about, how it could take over and, erase the actual human, I don't think that's great, but I think it's a great tool.
Yeah, I look. I'm kind of torn myself. I use AI every single day. I own a company where we sell AI tools to businesses. So on one hand,
It's here to stay. Really, I mean, it's not going anywhere, that's for sure.
yeah, and I don't disagree with that. On one hand, I see the benefits, of a great deal of benefit from using it in certain aspects. I don't see look, AI, totally AI generated content. I have yet to see any that I was like, okay, that was, nobody's hand was on that and it was better than any human could. That's not ever, I don't think will ever happen.
Right.
I will say that we have a intro and outro on Straight Talk Commerce, and somebody asked me the other day, "Did you use AI?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not a rapper, so yes, it was not my voice.
Right.
Okay, he used my name in it. Of course, it's an AI. Now, I will say that the lyrics were written by yours truly." But I did put it into Suno and asked it to give me someone who could rap this song for me. And then I combined everything into the video, and people can see that on the beginning of this interview and on the end of all of my videos and TikToks and whatever. What about you? Do you repurpose content across channels? Um, do you do any of
I
that?
just started doing that. And I say that because, for example, I just did it today actually, where there was a portable charger that I've talked about before a couple times.
Right.
And all of a sudden, that portable charger today is on sale. So I repurposed something that I had posted, a couple months ago, because that same item now you can get for a better price. And I really like to talk about, I'm all about a good sale. So if I see something that I've talked about and it's on sale, I may repurpose it.
Now,
Today, I was talking about another line that I just happened to have it on, and and I wanted to talk about it because I'm like, today's a really great day to be wearing this sweatshirt by this, designer that I like, and this is why. So, there's sometimes where I'll just kind of come up with something and it might be the same item, but it's how I spin it and what I talk about. It's not going to be the same message,
gotcha.
but it could be the same product.
Right, right. So you may not, and have you taken any of your shorts and extended them into a 3 or 4, strung them together and made longer content? Have you tried you doing any of
I
that?
haven't done that. It wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, I could see that being really working well for there's a skincare line that I love that I actually am working with, Wise Beauty. And they have a lot of different products and they all have different benefits. So something like that, I could definitely, talk about, the moisturizer, the eye cream, the vitamin C. I mean, there's all these different products and I could definitely kind of make something longer with it. But again, I think it's like quick and short. I think that's what catches the audience's attention, especially for what I'm trying to promote.
All right. Well, look, let me ask you this. How about live streaming and like real-time engagement? Do you use a lot of live streaming? I know that we talked about it, it exists, but I'm saying, as put your influencer hat on and also your brand representative hat on, and how does that work? Do you get a lot of requests for people that are going live at an event and doing engagement that way, or do they want it to be way more controlled than that?
They do. Well, especially with entertainment. So I've, been able to have live cuts and it does well. I'm speaking kind of just for one type of industry, entertainment. They will not allow you to just do anything live. They have to see everything before it posts. You can
Really?
make it look like it's a live post, but at the end of the day, because of PR and legal issues, they will not allow you to just post, at will. They want to see what you're saying and if there's anything that you're saying that isn't accurate, so they can pull it. So, and that's really with any brand, especially working with entertainment. If they know you have influencers in there, let's say the premiere, or let's say they're at a special event, they will not allow them to just post live.
And you
So,
make it very clear up front. You are invited to this event, and
right.
you are welcome to record while you're at this event, but
Yes.
do not go live. Do not go outside of these parameters and talk about this event.
Yeah, they're very specific.
Yeah,
And there's
smart.
actually legal contracts that stipulate as to
Sure.
how you can use the content and what can and cannot be I mean, there's different ways that you have to talk about the title. There's different what you can and can't say. So they're pretty strict.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that every business or every industry is like that. I can only speak from experience in the entertainment world. They have a lot of restrictions.
Yeah, I would think that anybody with the brand large or small, especially even the smaller brands, it's very difficult to come back from, a major faux pas. You would want to protect yourself. How important is consistency? I know that I see a lot of content coming from Karen Hill. I know that I do. And you are the queen of consistency when it comes to that. So how do you feel about it? Or how important is it for you to be consistent in your content posting?
Well, and it's something that I've learned. So on the LTK and Shop My platforms, there's certain thresholds you have to hit. And when you hit those, it opens up more opportunities for you.
Right.
So you have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, it's kind of like the algorithms that they have. So, they really encouraging posting daily. And if you can post even more than that, it's hard though, I will say, from a content creator to really come up with content, so much content. I mean, you really have to be creative and plan it out. And it's like a full-time job in itself, right? So, but consistency is what I've been trying to develop and having at least posting once a day. But you don't want to just post random, you really have to have meaningful content. You can't just post, whatever and hope that it sticks. You really have to be thoughtful about
Yeah.
what you're doing. But I will say that that kind of is coming from LTK and ShopMy, which is the platforms I'm working very heavily with. They encourage that. And that's how you grow your audience. They want to see you. You want to develop campaigns where every day at 9 o'clock in the morning, they know they're going to see Karen and they know they're going to have something new that she's going to talk about. I know that I look forward to that with other influencers that I follow. I want to know what outfit they're wearing. I want to see what they're talking about. So you kind of build that up to where they're like, oh, good, she's going to come on. Like, and if they don't, you're like, what happened? Why aren't they on?
Right.
So you want to build that surprise and delight.
Look, everyone that subscribes to this podcast and listens to what I'm saying, they know that I am extremely big on consistency in posting. I have a Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I post, but throughout the week, I also post shorts. That long content is repurposed into my short videos. And, one of the things that I did this, I'll confess this. I did this on a lark. I was on TikTok. I was doing a live or going through lives. And I noticed a lot of very middle-aged women, older women that were talking about the TikTok mastery blueprint. And they were very vaguely talking about 3 tiers. You have 3 tiers, 300, 600, 900, and it was really making me mad. I don't believe in cheating anybody. And I was getting very angry and thinking to myself, what kind of shenanigans are these people pulling and dragging people into this TikTok blueprint mastery? It sounded like a multi-level marketing thing to me. Tell you what I did. I went and I did the math. And I found out that consistency really is the key. There is a mathematical equation that my subscribers know, and I talk about it frequently now. Once I figured this out, where you can give yourself a 95%, doesn't matter who you are, you can give yourself a 95% chance of blowing up and being viral and having a million subscribers. But you have to follow a certain plan, and a part of that plan is the consistency and the amount of quality content. And some people will get there sooner, some people will get there later, but you are mathematically pretty much guaranteed to get there if you follow the consistency portion of that. It's very interesting to me because I was ready to come undone on these TikToks. But like, why are you telling some woman in Louisiana that well, guess what? She can actually pull this off. It just takes the content. It just takes the amount of content that we're talking about. It's not a whole lot, really. What
I think
role?
it keeps changing. That's what's kind of hard to
Well,
follow, which I wish these platforms would
yeah,
not keep doing. You kind of get it figured out and then all of a sudden they change it. And then it's
yeah,
like you got to figure it out again. So That's, I think, difficult to follow. I mean, unless you're just a genius at this. I mean, I know I'm kind of learning as I go too, but I think that's the hard part, is that I wish the platforms would be consistent, because it's like all of a sudden they change it and then you got to figure it out, and then you got it figured out and then they change it again. So I think that's tough.
Well, anyone that's ever been in a sales type job, and I have been in many, we know that you sign a contract and that commission structure is built up on built a certain way. And once you get comfortable and you start being successful at that commission structure, then comes the change. They want to change it to make it more beneficial to the employer, to the person that you're selling for. I happen to know your husband goes through this all the time, where
Yes, yes.
hey, you did so well, Tom. We are having a hard time cutting you big checks, so this is the new commission structure. And every single time, not 99 times out of 100, 100 times out of 100, it's to screw the guy that's actually doing the selling, and the person that, and look, it's as old as time. Okay. Now, what you can do if you pay attention is you can reverse engineer the change that they made, find out where they've weighted it against you, and take advantage of that. And that's also part of the course that I'm putting together, is to identify why you've been shadow banned, find out where you've been suppressed, fix it, and then you go right back to zooming to the top. Look, I'm going to wrap this up. I've taken up way too much of your time. It's Tracy's birthday, and we're going to
Yes,
go
tell her
blow.
happy birthday.
Yeah, she wanted me to tell you hello as well. What role is email marketing playing in the people that you represent? What role is that playing in their social media strategy?
Yep.
And is it increasing or is it decreasing, do you see?
It's definitely part of every campaign that I put together from the studio brand side. So I will say that that's always very beneficial for both parties to be able to have that. And it's a really great tool as well to be able to communicate a deeper, more robust campaign. So let's say you're trying to do a call out for a sweepstakes. You just can say so much more. And it's also a great tool to be able to capture emails too when you're doing a social post, to try to get them over so you have that constant communication. But I don't see it going anywhere. I think email is definitely, and I think it depends on your target demo. I will say that, because I feel like our age group, Gen Xers, we're very much email, right? I think if you're going after a younger group, it's all about text messaging. So I think you have to have a really good blend of text messaging your audience and doing emails. But I think I think for every campaign, you have to have a little bit of everything. You have to have a social media, a digital plan, you can do above the line media, below the line media, and that entails the emailing, the text messaging. I mean, there's so many different touch points. You have to figure out what works for your product. And that's really the fun part, is creating that, what's going to work, what's not going to work. And then,
Look
having
into.
that,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
I was
sorry.
going to say, kind of figuring out on the back end what performs, so you know how you can fix that campaign for the next go around.
Right. Now, okay, let's look into the future a little bit. I'm going to add a question in here. Look into the future a little bit, because for me, I have always shied away from email and email campaigns. But that's a personal thing with me. I don't like it when somebody that I didn't, request an email from or a communication from, has that access to me. I don't like it. Do you see that diminishing in the future, or even now from what it was? Or do you see it increasing and becoming, because you're right, you can tell a much broader story on that platform. You've always been able to. You've always been able to tell through email a much richer story. It gives you the opportunity. Maybe it's not, people don't pick it up, but you've always had that opportunity to tell a much bigger story. Do you see that continuing, or do you see that we're going to hey, look, screw that, we're going
I think
to
it's going to
TikTok
change.
lives?
I think it's going to change, because I think everyone
Yeah.
wants something quick and instant. I think they want to see shorts. I think they want to see live commercials. I think they want to be entertained more. I don't think they want to read a lot of text. So I do think pictures tell if that, I mean, when you have a beautiful campaign that is visually beautiful, I think that's going to speak louder than having a whole page of text. No one's going to read it. That's my personal opinion anyways.
Yeah, look, okay, but look, that's a wrap on today's episode. I'm sitting with Karen Hill, and I'm telling you what, I take credit because I'm a genius. I knew having you on and having you talk about this with us, especially for my subscribers, so many golden nuggets on social media, influencer marketing, digital growth. I'm not going to ask you if you got value from this. I am going to absolutely guarantee you got value from this. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, leave a review and a kind comment thanking Karen for her time. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, and it's practically anybody that's in business. Do not forget, I'm going to have Karen's follows in the description of this video. Do not forget to follow her for more expert insights. You can just watch her and glean powerful information. Thank you all for tuning into this episode. I will see you on the next episode of Straight Talk Commerce. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I'll break it down with the sharpest minds. Money moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros, we crack the code. Now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know with Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.